From the east and the west, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only. And man, it's just another beautiful Friday out here in that's where I'm at right now. So pretty much it is what it is. So, you know, what happened last night, pretty crazy. Supposed to. Rams beat Raiders in dramatic fashion, pulling off a fourth quarter to solidify himself somewhat. You know, he's on his third team already in 1 year. So it had just been traded out of Cleveland a few weeks before the season. Defending Super Bowl champions who have a 6-game losing streak going into the game. Quarterback. And it seemed like the Rams wouldn't be so the hell and just went ahead and did it anyway. So pretty much it winds up fourth quarter, the final 5 minutes of the game, the Rams showed a little bit of life. They got a Raiders wound up not being able to do the proper things. The pretty good situation where they punted the ball all the way to the 2. A little bit last night, and then pretty much every talking head has pretty much down just a little bit. I would say this, that it was more of a game lost by the first 3 drives of the game as well too, and a lot of things changed for the Raiders. Interception. Now, if they go ahead and score that touchdown, they're up 20-3 at that point. At the end of the night. So, like I said before, once again, and their 4th game with a double-digit lead as well too. This is starting to become a really only lost 1 game legitimately this season. The rest of their games were bonehead mistakes made by offensive players and bad clicking so well the last few weeks on the offensive end, because you had Josh Jacobs showing that why he's worth every single penny, every single dollar that lost now when you look at it. But all in all, the Raiders season opportunity at the playoffs, yeah, but it's a very slim one. If they kept rolling, they could make the playoffs, but they dropped down to not too far off because the Browns and Pittsburgh, they got still the team that's in the seventh hole. So climbing to do, but that yesterday with the Raiders, it dropped them to 4-5. And they do run into a little bit of trouble because they did lose to teams like Indian. Divisional situation, but the Raiders 5-8 right now. Have 308 points and they've given up 313 points. That's just the irony of is at the end of the day, the Raiders lose, Rams win. Good something because literally they were trying to give away tickets. One guy, let's just look at Baker's numbers last night: 230 yards, a touchdown, and he Mayfield is that tough. I just think that it was an exciting game last night and morning. So it is what it is at the end of the day. And Raiders lose. LA's team versus the team that occupies LA now. So it is what the topic in hand, and it's going to be a good one here. It's going to be for Zan. Sorry, get the comps moving a little slow. So does Bogaerts? Well, I know a lot of people are excited right now about. We do think that the Padres might be overplaying their hand. They are stacking up. I know they got some good pitching, but do they have the type of pitching that the Dodgers this year? It doesn't matter. When you look at the numbers, the Dodgers brought really bad like that sat up there and gave up 9 runs in it. Dropped the ball on spending money on pitching because pitching was right there to spend money on. Shortstop, you know what I mean? And I think that they just wanted to get another paper, and it does make for excitement in the MLB next year. Good for the brand of Major League Baseball. And right now, league, they're not worried about beating the Dodgers. They're worried about becoming 8 years, wound and 11 straight years to be exact, have won the they're not on that level. You know, it doesn't matter if they beat the Dodgers in a playoff series because then they went in there and blew the next series because they go up. What was it? They wind up getting backdoor swept by the Phillies. You know, so they had a great little moment where they won the first game and it was exciting and everybody was excited and the Padres look like they're going to win the title. Then they go to Philadelphia and they get absolutely ambushed. So, it is what it is, man. I know they had some close games, but they just really didn't address what needed to be addressed, but they do have won't be enough to really really be able to beat the Dodgers this year and win the NL West. I know it sounds like I'm big hating, but this team spends a lot of time hurt, and everybody knows this. If anything, and bringing back Tatis after a whole year off does not mean that he's going to come back and be the wonder kid like he used to be, because you got to remember he did get those PEDs as help, then it might be an issue. When the going gets tough, will he still be there to be a great teammate? That's the because you just have way too much money on the books. And when you look at the upside, let's just keep it real. Tatis was a moment. Cheating, then it just Bonds was accused. You know what I mean? Mark McGwire was caught. It's a great, fixture in MLB baseball because he cheated. That it could be better, but San Diego, and we all know that. So pretty much more power to him, but it makes baseball that they have this going on. So hopefully between the Padres and the Giants, between the Padres and the Mets, just share national games this year. So we'll be ready for it. All right. So we got some boxing news going. We got some boxing. Will he give us another big night versus Sandor? Well, yeah, pretty much Mikey Garcia's final fight. But was Mikey's heart really in the fight? So that's how it usually goes. But I truly do feel like we have and pin. Love it. I love it. And that's that literally there's 6 trains that take you to 34th and Penn, man, that I've been the different feels of being around Midtown Manhattan. And boy, oh boy, when they already had the weigh in and everything like that. But I know there, so it's always fun, and then you get to see everybody as well too. So up in a car, anything like that. So you'll be able to catch your favorite boxers walking around. Take place, and you might see the young guys as well too, the future champs as well. This fight right here presents a very nice challenge for Teofimo Lopez. He's still a very unique situation. Keep holding his loss against him, knowing what happened that night. I've spoken, man. I promise you that if you ever sit down and really talk to him, there's on camera like they were like he was trying to explain the other day at the press conference. It's really, really, really positive dude. He's really smart as well too. But I mean, so they're not gonna pull no punches, and talking trash, that's boxing. Boxing is not a cupcake sport. MMA, UFC, I know that they do a lot of, whoa, yeah, I'm honored to fight. I'm honored to be a part of this. I'm a warrior and da da da. Da. This is prize fighting, man. And the more you talk, the more you sell, the more money you make. It's that simple in boxing. Okay. In MMA, you can be, I'm the toughest of the tough, da 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 da, and you still gonna get paid whatever Dana wants to pay you. But in boxing, when you got the skills to pay the bills, and then you can sell the fight as well too, promoters got to pay you because you got people pulling up to see you fight. Is going to have another big night in the Garden. I know a lot of people are very impressed with Xander since the Errol Spence fight. And he took 2 years off of boxing before he took almost another year off before he fought Jesse 8 months off, and then fight Xander Martin. Mikey Garcia, he just went ahead and made some more money at the end of his career so he can go ahead and be. So sometimes we just got to send guys on their way. Now he's going against, he knows he's about to do something big time in this fight. I do able to help sell some things by not backing down or during staring. Opinion. I think Teofimo Lopez absolutely annihilates this guy, and well too. I can see possibly a fight coming with Prograis because that, and then possibly you get the big fight with Josh Taylor if he's still. It's like really open season for all those belts. So Tio will probably be in a that are vacant at the time at this time. So I look forward to it. I hope you guys tune in, and it should be a good one. Another boxing scrap, and that's going to be a good one. That's going to be between pound for pound in my book. Okay, in my book. I know a lot of y'all don't want to. And I just say this because if you guys love HBO as much as you say, G. And I always felt like, okay, he might not, be able to speak on the mic as well as Walker either. But Crawford is more of a guy that he's that. I'm just gonna be a little frank here, and I'm gonna say he's just like that little black. Why can't I do nothing to him? And he's talking the most. He goes in there and handles his business and embarrasses people. That's what Bud chocolatey bastard that just will just keep just feel about him, and that you get mad. You feel that at 130, the guy won at 135, the guy won at 140, the guy so highly of the lightweight division. Bud was the undisputed champion of that you know, and well, actually, unified champion 135, undisputed champion last 10 years, 12. You know, the man is just he's amazing. Credit for it, and that's because they feel like he hasn't fought anybody. You know what I mean? He fights whoever wants to be the victim that night. And I think that when they have how good he is, Kell Brook, who gave Errol Spence a tough time, he was literally, but Crawford did a adjustment in that fight that a lot of us that got him a victory. He also went ahead and obliterated Amir Khan. Some of the best in the business. Also, Sean Porter, he put Sean Porter. They had to stop the fight, literally. But I don't think Sean wanted to stop the fight. His dad lose a really, really one-sided decision. Gave him all hell, but he gave Errol hell for 12 rounds. So understand that these guys are very equal, but I would say that Bud's just a lot more. And I know right now you got Crawford. I know you got Spence. He's holding the IBF and he's holding the WBC belt. So he has those belts in his treasure chest. But there's one belt missing, the WBO belt. So this fight right here to me is probably going to happen next. Bud and Spence, I know a lot of people have thrown it away, but I think that this fight will get these guys going because Spence is due to fight a big fight against Thurman soon, and it seems like it's going to be probably in March, to be honest with you. Looks like it's going to probably be a Jerry's World fight. So, Thurman fight, and I would say this fight should happen sometime in the summer. Next summer, and next summer is perfect for the Bud Crawford and Spence fight to happen. I think that's perfect timing for everybody. Nobody has to worry about cold weather, and nobody has to worry about is it my vacation time and can I get out? It just depends on where they're going to have the fight at. So it is what it is. Crawford, but real quick about the fight, the challenger is decent. You know what I mean? He's credible, but he's still not a big name here in America, but it's fine though. Bud Crawford has fought against some. Bud Crawford usually picks guys that can challenge him a bit, and he's had some good scraps lately. And I think he chose right with Avazian, who's somebody who's ranked in his in the WBO, and I think that the guy is going to come in here and at least try. You know what I mean? So Bud should have himself a great night. It should end in a great KO. For all of his people in Nebraska, but don't bank on it though, because at the end of the day, I always feel like a knockout is like a reward for us fans. I just always say, just have a great fight and win the fight. That's all you need to do. And if Bud does his part and Errol does his part, I would say this: I think they would be a week later. They would be announcing that they've came to agreement on their fight. Both of them just needed to have one more fight to get you fans that are already in a tizzy about it and even more of a tizzy about it. So that's just selling the fight, and that's what it is. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and we are going to take our first break of NBA, and we're going to go ahead and talk some Lakers live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we're back. DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. So let's go ahead and jump into. And we got 10 games on the agenda tonight in the NBA. And you know what I mean? I don't think that anybody should take anything too serious. Get past Christmas, the true NBA season has begun. That's when you can 5 in a row, and they still top 4 team in the conference somewhere. And the Lakers lost the other night, but they're kind of back in the mix. And funny thing is, that's what I'm trying to just get you guys to understand, that the NBA right until we get to past that Christmas date, and then we really don't, because then there's still going to be a lot of questions about where we're going, but things which is going to be one of the really good game tonight between East with you with the Kings and the Cavs. The Kings team that's coming into the game 16-9. Well, probably the for you, but I do have notes on this game as well too. And with the lose to the Bucks the other night, 126-113, and then they are 4-9, and then as a road underdog, they've been in that spot. They're 15-8 on the season, and against the spread on the road, they've been on 5. Now, when it comes down to over and under, they are split at 11. To their road with over and under, they've won 8 out of those 12, 8 out of those 13 games. So this team being on the road, but over under in general, though, this team is always scoring you as well. So we have the month of December, and they've actually have won their last 2 in a row. They've just won their last 2 in a row. So pretty much I just got to return a text real quick. let me get this back up here. But we had the Cavs 16-9. Cavs the other night, and they are feeling pretty good about themselves. It's pretty fun with them. They've won 2 out of 3 this home. As a favorite, they've been a favorite 18 times this season. Probably the straight up as a favorite, 10-1 straight up as a home favorite. And we all know that one against the spread. Now at home against the spread, they're 10-1-1. The home favorite, they're 9-1-1 against the spread. Now, as when it comes down to the over/under, they've went under in 15 out of their 25 games. At home, they've went under 7 out of their 12 games, and as a favorite, they've went under 11 out of their 18 games. So 11 out of their 18 games. So when I look at this one tonight, for both of these teams, but when you really put the my opinion. So I truly do feel like we can go ahead and it's crazy that I'm doing this because I just said under for both of these bring it, and the Cavs are going to bring it tonight as well too. So I being 225.5, and I know why they dropped the number because a lot of was over. I think we're going to get some excitement here over at the Q. So we have ourselves our next game coming up, which is going to be the Hawks and then who's is coming in right now. Larry Brown, former coach of the Philadelphia 76ers in the program. So I just want to give you guys that news real quick that he is leaving. And hate to see him go, but you know, hey, it happens. All right, so the Hawks have dropped. They've lost 2 out of Knicks the other night as well too. They're 5-7 straight up on the road. They're 4-7 now against the spread. They're 10-14-1, and on the road against the now when it comes to over under, they've went over in 13 out of in 13. And they've went over on the road 8 times. Went under 6 out of those 11 times. So pretty much the Hawks seem to step it up when they play the Nets. The Nets come into this one 2-1 up at home, and they're 11-6 straight up as a favorite, and then 9-1, and then against the spread as a favorite, they're 7-9-1, and then 5-8. When you look at what they're 5-9 against the spread at home. Sorry about that. Under in 16 of their 26 games this year, and they've won in 10 games as a favorite. At the 17 times they've been a favorite. Keep this thing rolling a bit, and winds up being a game where the Hawks actually go ahead and cover, because they have lost the last two in a row. They lost by 6 at home to the Thunder, and then they and playing in Brooklyn tonight. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But point spread with an over under 229.5. I like the plus 7.5 on. And this one is going to be another good game as well, too. This is going to be between the and from what I can see here, you have a Suns team that's actually, and they did lose to Boston the other night by 27 points. And as a favorite this year, though, they're 14-7 straight up. Now against the spread, they're 14-11 in their 25 games. On the road, they're 11-10 against the spread. And then as a road went under, they have went under in 13 out of those 25 games. Over under. So they've went over in 5 out of those 10 games. Of them went under in 4 of them and pushed in 1. And then when it comes down 13 of those 21 games. So pretty much when I look at the number, you got a Pelicans team coming in here, and I don't know why I don't have this month. And I think the Pelicans really do show a team that, and I just don't like the way this team looks on the road this year. So that's why I'm going to go and we'll see how this one goes. We'll see how it shakes out, but it should be a really the Jazz and the Timberwolves coming up in our next spot tonight. The Jazz coming in here going against a 14-12 team in the Jazz, who got a good win. Half-point favorite, and you do have the over-under of 234.5. Be Indiana 121-115. They're 5-5 straight up on the road. They're road dog. They're 1-3 against the spread and straight up. Now, when it comes down to team and against the spread on the road, they're 4-6. So in their 10 games, they went under 6 times, and then as an underdog, they went under, playing to the hype that they were hyped up to be. So they really in the playoffs this year, because they're just one injury away from everything not going for a team in the West. You know what I mean? Because Anthony Edwards is a monster. And then you got Rudy Gobert for the defense. So they got to step it up at some point. Win the other night, 124-123 over the Warriors. They're 9-4 And then as a home favorite, they're 5-4 straight up. Now against the spread, they're 15-12 on the year, and they're 15-12 against the spread. And then they are also 3-8 as well too. And then when it comes down to the over, they went over in 15 of those games this year. And then when it comes down to games, and then as a favorite, they've went over in 6 of those 11 games. Game between two Northwest rivals, but I truly do think that this one does come down to the scoreboard, because when you look at the spread, you can go either way. And I think what happens tonight is that we get the under in this game tonight. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, but it's a big number tonight, and I don't think that they get to that big number tonight. So we'll see how this one shapes up and shakes out, but this is one of the better games of the night as well, too. And then we end with the game of the night, pretty much. We got Luka going against Giannis. So you got two MVP candidates going against each other right now. And, best man wins, right? You got the Bucks, who've won 3 in a row and 3-1 for the month of December. They beat Sacramento the other night at home. 9 times. They're 6-3. And as a favorite, they've been the favorite 22 times. Or 5-2. So they come in here spread, and then as a favorite, they're 13-8-1, and then as their 24 games over under, they're split at 12. And then when it comes, that means that they've went under in 7 out of their 9 games. Now, when it comes down to in 12 of those 22 games. So they have that working in their accord as well. You have this Bucks team. It's a weird situation, but they've won 3 in a row as well too. They also are 10-3 straight up at home. They're two. Now against the spread, they're 8-15-1, and the season they're 2-2 against the spread. When it comes down to the over and under, they went over in 8 out of their 13 games, and as an underdog, they went out over in. But I think that the Bucks are just a very confident bunch, and that this winds up being a game that goes in the favor of the winning this game tonight. And I do like the Bucks to win. And actually, this is one 10 each side if you do a money line here as well too. You know what I mean? So another quick commercial break, and when we get back, we will get into talking.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
PICB PrimeTime Capper. So we have ourselves here. I do feel like we do have a good talking tickets here. So there we go. Okay, we got Dartmouth kicking us off. They're the road team today, going against Central Connecticut State tonight. Dixon. I like them with the plus 110 at home tonight. Then you got Grambling, who's going against Vandy tonight. They're the road team. I like Grambling to go ahead and take care of their business. HBCU, let's get it. And then we have Queens, North Carolina, Queens College. They're a brand new team in Division One, and let's give them a shot. Let's see if they can go ahead and get us a cover. I did want to take them to win, but let's just take the plus 4.5. If you like the money line, take the plus 165. Against Arkansas State, and then we finish up with the Zags. Trying to make sure that I don't just throw out a team there, because they're Washington. I knew it. So they're playing an interstate rivalry game. $46-1 ticket, single what you like, and that's the first portion of talking ticket. Got the plus 7.5 with the Hawks, and then we have the over 222.5. And then we also have the under 234.5 tonight with the Wolves and the Jazz. 6-1 ticket there. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. It looks like it can. Spots where it's showing us that we can really go ahead and kill it tonight. And, tonight is the night to hit one of these tickets, man. That's how I'm feeling. So, can get your Christmas started right. Your boy DiBiase, you know how it goes. You guys are the absolute best with me, and you guys already know. Pretty much, as I always like to say, bet with your head, not with your heart. Angles live, and I'll be back to you guys on Monday. So you guys be ready for that.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave